Welcome to the 60th episode of Lodging on Demand. In this installment, Lodging's managing editor, George Selly, meets with Shane Bartholomew, Hospitality and Gaming Director for the East Region, and Amber Butterick, Director of Apparel Dispensing at Cintas, regarding the value of uniforms in the hotel industry, trends in their sourcing and management, as well as how Cintas' innovative garment dispensing solution is increasing efficiencies in those key areas of operations.
My name is Matt Cooper. I'm the Senior Executive Chef here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The first thing I heard was a vending machine for chef coats. Having this machine and the capability of not having to deal with passing out chef coats and the storage, everyone loved the idea to be able to come in every day, get a fresh chef coat, turn it in at the end of the shift, and then get a fresh one the next morning.
Welcome to Lodging on Demand. I'm George Selly, Managing Editor of Lodging, and I have with me two leaders at Cintas Corporation, which is a major supplier of uniforms and apparel in various industries, including hospitality. So thanks to both of you, Amber and Shane, for joining me today. Would you like to start by introducing yourselves?
Sure. Amber?
I was going to say ladies first, right?
Right.
Amber Butterick, I am the Director of Apparel Dispensing for Cintas. So I oversee this solution across all of our business lines, and super appreciative for your time today, George.
My pleasure.
That's great. Yeah, George, great to be on today, be with you. My name's Shane Bartholomew. I am the Hospitality and Gaming Director for the East Region. And so have a team of major account managers up and down the East Coast that take care of all of our hospitality, gaming, stadium, and arena customers.
Terrific. Yeah. So we're here to discuss trends in the sourcing and management of uniforms in the hotel industry, and especially how Cintas's innovative garment dispensing solution is increasing efficiencies in those areas. So I was wondering if we could start with just a brief overview of the company's history as a supplier to the hospitality industry.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, George. Yeah, I think when you think about Cintas collectively, we've been around a long time. I think we're coming up on 100 years. And so as we look back, though, over the past 10 to 15 years, Cintas has made a real deliberate and strategic approach towards the hospitality industry. And what we've done is we've put dedicated hospitality account managers in place at that time. We've got dedicated routes that just service that industry. Our design collective group is outstanding, fully committed apparel specialist to the space. And you look, and we've even introduced dedicated rental garments that are only for like the hospitality industry. And so it's been a great run. What we've done essentially, George, over the last 10 years is we've raised our level of service to hospitality to match the level of service they're looking to give to their guests. So we do have that dedicated approach.
Great. So that's a pretty solid background you have in the hospitality segment. Sounds like, yeah. And how would you describe the value of uniforms in the industry? I mean, how do they help foster camaraderie and teamwork among staff?
Yeah, George, I'll jump in here. I think uniforms are one of the strongest forms of visual communication within a hotel. If you think about what they create, it's a sense of belonging, right? Showing that partner or that team member that they're a part of something bigger than themselves.
Right.
They strengthen the departmental identity. It fosters camaraderie and teamwork among the staff, who are sharing the same goals and job functions within the resort. For leadership, I think the uniforms communicate professionalism and unity. So, it's very important for those property leaders, but most importantly for guests, like when you're walking around a resort or a property, and it's clear to define a job function by their uniform. I think about when I walk around Target,
Yeah.
I know a red shirt, hopefully no one's wearing a red shirt, that doesn't work at
Mhm.
Target because they're probably going to get asked a question. So
Right.
it's just uniforms are such an employee benefit. And that has been a huge value prop for Cintas all the way along. And it just transcends into hospitality.
Yeah, so they play an important role from the staff perspective, also from the customer perspective, right? But do hoteliers face any challenges in sourcing uniforms? Are there any current challenges in procurement that you could highlight?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty consistent. I mean, if I had to really narrow it down to one word, George, it'd be about control when it comes to uniforms. Uniforms are an asset, right? So the hotel is curating these programs and procuring these uniforms. And so how do we order them? How do we track them? Where do they go? Whose sizes, what's our spend, what's our budget? All these things are things that procurement folks they want control over, and they want transparency around where the dollars are going, where the inventory is, and does everyone have their uniforms. So really, if I had to narrow it down, George, to one thing, it would really be control.
Yeah, and we'll be discussing shortly how Cintas's automated solution facilitates that, right? That control. But first, I was wondering if you could explain how the company's experience in verticals like healthcare and hospitality influence the service that you provide to each industry, right? Is there some cross-pollination there, as it were?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The way Cintas is set up, the same 10 to 15 years that I talked about when we opened, George, that we went into hospitality, we also went into healthcare, education, the government sector. We have these verticals within our company where we have these specialized resources, specialized approaches, so that these account managers can essentially become experts in those industries. And so in hospitality, I'll speak to that and then give it to Amber to talk a little bit about healthcare because of her time
Right.
there. But in hospitality, it's really about image. And even though cleanliness matters and safety matters, these things, we're really thinking, how can we curate an experience around image, creating that through uniforms, creating that through mat services, creating that through, services that Cintas provides. And so I feel like hospitality really specializes in creating image, and specifically image around the housekeepers, the culinary staff, engineering, and then you look at the front of the house, from valet, door, front desk. So we can really curate programs from front of the house to back of the house. I like to say all the time, every stitch of clothing in a hotel can be fashioned by Cintas, and not only provided, but the right service program to go with it. And so we lay that out there, and our healthcare industry looks at that and says, well, we can draw from some of those really awesome uniforms that you put on housekeepers and you put on engineering staff, and some of the strategic relationships that we build, like with Chef Works and Carhartts. We can draw some of that image focus into healthcare. And I think, Amber, for you, how do we do it from healthcare? How do we pull from you all?
Yeah.
What you do in healthcare influences what you do in hospitality as well, right?
Big time. And
Yeah.
that's Amber can talk about a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, ironically enough, in healthcare, we were just as focused on image, right? Because who wants to see a physician walk up to talk to your family after a procedure looking like they're wearing a bed sheet, right? So as we got
Yeah.
as we got into the business, we were like, we recognized an opportunity to revolutionize scrub distribution within the healthcare facilities. And we have been wildly successful with our dispensing solution within healthcare. And then even so much so that we started to see it evolve into food and nutrition with Chef Works, like Shane was talking about, and then into environmental services or the housekeepers of the hospital and those garments. And so then we started to say, well, the same challenges with uniform programs and loss of control and those things happen in hospitality too. So how do we take this amazing tool that we've implemented across healthcare and start to socialize it across the hospitality industry. And it's exciting.
Right, right. So there's this focus on the healthcare side on cleanliness and efficiency, right? And that those are also major focuses for hotels, right?
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely.
right, absolutely. Let's move to your one of your main offerings in the hotel industry, the garment dispensing solution, right? So first off, how does it simplify uniform sourcing, right?
Oh, so it's a total game changer. It's unique to hospitality. There's not anyone else today that is navigating or playing in this space. So you'll sense a lot of passion because I just love the solution. So it's
Mhm.
a full turnkey 24/7 solution that provides access to clean, ready to wear uniforms. It eliminates loss because there's precise inventory control. Like you can only get out what we allow you to get out.
Mhm.
And it allows for easy adjustment for seasonality, for size changes, for temp staffing changes. So from day one, the value prop is that no matter where the associate is in their journey or their partnership with the
Mhm.
property, they have access to what they need the day they step foot into that facility. A clean, available, and perfectly managed uniform program. And we're just trying to take them out of the uniform business so they can focus on the bigger priority, like the guest experience.
Yeah, yeah, all right. So it really streamlines the uniform process, right? And
That's it.
could you maybe provide a little bit more detail on how the technology actually works and how it's being used by hotels?
Absolutely. Yeah, George, and we've got, videos online that really show
Right.
it hands on, but just to explain it, you just figure there's a dispensing unit and a return unit. And
Mhm.
so the dispenser holds all the clean folded uniforms inside it so that there's clean bulk inventory in the right sizes that the property needs right inside the dispenser. And so on day one, as Amber said, a new employee can get either a special badge to get access to it or get a code to get access. And that badge or code comes with 2 credits. And so
Yep.
they get a top and a bottom. So let's say you're a culinarian or a cook. You walk up, you get your badge or you have your code, you enter in, and you use your 2 credits, one for a top, one for a bottom, and you dispense it. Now you've got it. You've got poly wrap, clean, ready to go uniforms. And if you go back to get more inventory, you'll be out of credit, so you can't get any more. So you've got, your uniforms, and the only way to get those credits back is to, wear them and then go return them to the return unit. And when you put them into the return unit, it sees that 2 pieces are returned and credits back those credits back to you, so you have access now to get more clean inventory. And so this is changing the game. Number one, because inventories available for everywhere each day, clean, ready to go uniforms, as Amber said, 24/7.
Mhm.
Number two, it's eliminating loss. And so now we don't have to worry about, uniforms walking off property and never coming back. We know who has them, where they're at. We can track all this online and see who's distributed, who's returned, who hasn't returned in a few days. We can see all that on our cloud-based server that goes with this. And the last thing is now you have real control over the total inventory.
Mhm.
Usually you're assigning individuals their own sets of uniforms. And so, you don't necessarily know who has all their sets,
You have
where all
better
their sets
visibility,
are, where all their
right?
uniforms are. Yeah. And
Right.
so now you're just controlling one number. What's the total amount of inventory I have on hand? And you can dial that up with a quick phone call or text, or you can dial that down if you're not using it. And so it allows for flexible inventory levels throughout the year. A lot of our hotels that we work with, George, have, they're seasonal. And so they have peak season where we can ramp the inventory up very easily. And then when peak season's over, we can, dial the inventory down with just a quick text or phone call. So
Okay, so it's very adaptable. And
adaptable.
just for contrast, Shane or Amber, could you describe what the process for this was like, before this kind of a tool or technology, right? what was the uniform distribution system like, and what,
Sure.
inadequacies did it have? I guess, right?
Yeah, I think if you think about really any hotel you're out there that's listening, they're assigning somebody to be the uniform person, whether that's a full-fledged, fully staffed uniform room, or it's just an administrative partner that takes care of that. Somebody's responsible for fitting this employee, ordering their uniforms, tracking those inventories, receiving those uniforms, distributing those uniforms, handling the day-to-day size changes. If somebody gets a stain on their garment, somebody's responsible for all of those things. No matter if it's just a standard purchase or rental program before, what we've said is let's take all that away and let's have each person curate their own experience by going up, fitting themselves. And basically, if I dispense, George, let's say I go up to the machine, I think I'm a large and a medium, and I go up and it's too big on me. So I took the large back and I can just put it away real quick and dispense a medium. That's how easy it is.
More efficient.
And so I can fit myself, have clean inventory available. I don't have to worry about ordering, tracking, any of those things. And again, the key thing is uniforms are assets, and every asset matters within a hotel. And so now we don't have to worry about lost product. We know who has it, where it's at, and that it's not walking away. And if somebody does walk away, they're only walking away with one shirt, one pant. We can decide what to do with that. We know they didn't get it. So we know they're not we can bill them if we have to. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds extremely efficient, particularly in the area of onboarding, right? With new hires. How does the solution streamline the process of distributing their uniforms and getting them up and running, if we want to just focus on that stage, right?
Yeah, it just makes for an all-around faster and smoother onboarding program. So when you think about onboarding anybody at any company, it's the paperwork and the sizing and I tell you, I was a uniform rep with Cintas for years, and people were like, I know what size inseam I am. I know what size waist I am. And you're like, no, I really need to measure you, right? Because what size I wear at one place is not going to be what I wear at the next place. So a lot of times what we find is, you order them uniforms and then they come in and they're the wrong size. So now you got another reorder the right size. And so the employee just doesn't feel the benefit of being an employee in a professional looking uniform. And so they just feel kind of like an outsider. So this now allows for such a smooth onboarding process that even if they come in to shadow before they're even an employee or an associate of the property, they could be in uniform shadowing that day. So it just it builds into, and we know what the employee market is now. It's hard to find good staff. And so to be able to give somebody something that is going to make sure they look good and feel good from day one, just shows the investment you have into your team and your associates.
Yeah, and the onboarding stage really is the first impression in a way with the company, right? So you want that to be positive and as efficient as possible.
Right. You only get one shot for the first impression, right?
That's what they say.
Right.
Yeah. So if we could just kind of wrap up with a case study of sorts, right? How the garment dispensing solution has helped a particular client or clients with their operations and streamlining the uniform distribution process. Could you give one or two examples there of that? Would be great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Amber was talking, I was immediately thinking about, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Again, not a hotel, but a very, very large facility with a lot of staff, a lot of seasonality, a lot of volatility in their staffing. And when we approached them, a lot of loss of garments. So we'd say they probably were replacing their total inventory 3 to 4 times a year, just by the sheer nature of change. And so we came in with the dispensing solution ahead of their 2024 NFL season. And not only did we ensure that they had clean, prepped, ready to go uniforms before every game, every event. I mean, this is a facility that doesn't just do Atlanta Falcons football games. They're doing events like 360 out of 365 days a year. And so we began to work with them and learn, George, about what they were struggling with. And really what all that mattered was just getting a garment on their back so they looked good and they looked the part and they were supposed to be there. And so what we did is we took them from just trying to get by to ensuring that every game, every event, everyone was fully uniformed with a clean, prepped, ready to go to uniform in the right specs, the right size, and they knew they couldn't get another one unless they returned the one they've worn. And so we were creating this even exchange. They had a return percentage of like 98.9%, which meant on the daily when people worked, almost 100% of the time, everyone was returning, which meant now the garments.
If I could just mention the advantage of that, of having to return before you get another one, is fewer lost uniforms or out of the inventory uniforms, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, so we're able to also, George, on that point, we're able to see at a distance virtually, we're able to see what's in that dispenser. So we know what's there. So if they start to run low, we're getting alerts. And so we can run a special out there to put extra inventory in. So we can see it. They can visibly see what they have. You know, they can see their inventory inside the dispenser. And so the employees, as you're saying, have confidence that there's clean, prepped, ready to go uniforms for them in their size. And that's what it kind of inspires them to use the program more and more, and making sure that that they've got what they need. So that's one that comes to mind. And they made it through their season and told us that they literally used the term transformational. So it was like transformational from what they were dealing with before with uniforms to going through a whole season and arriving at a place where, it was just, they didn't have to worry about uniforms at all. And so that was one case study that we've actually done some video shooting there, George, with that. So that's on YouTube as well. You could just, you could just Google, garment dispensing, Cintas, and that'll pop right up a video testimony that we did with Mercedes-Benz. So great.
Any other examples, or that would be the main one you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, another one I thought of in the Southeast as well was a brand new luxury hotel that we opened. So imagine a hotel opening. It's a 900 room hotel, a lot of staff, a lot of housekeeping, and of course, a lot of uniforms, right? A lot of uniforms needed. And so what we were able to come in and kind of understand that they were probably going to be getting staffing to get this thing going from probably 3 or 4 different avenues, a couple different staffing companies, part-time, full-time employees they were hiring within the property. And so again, I call that volatility, right? There's a lot of things to consider there. How do we get all of them in uniform? So rather than trying to get everybody's sizes, get everybody's orders ordered, getting everybody's stuff, in from the boxes or whatever the case might be, you've got bulk inventory on hand, and we made their onboarding of uniforms for that property opening. And it's a big property, a lot of employees. We made it seamless for them to have that inventory on hand and strategically distributed individual by individual. So
the system ultimately, it results in both time and money savings, really.
That's automation. That's when you can automate something. Right. That's really what you get. You're getting collective consistency. And that's what we're striving for, is we're trying to provide collective consistency across the board. And that's ultimately what we created here, was to say, think about this, George, if I just threw a bin full of uniforms in the back and said, George, just tell the team to go down and get their size, you would never see those uniforms again. They'd be gone. They'd be swallowed up and gone. What we have now is we've got 98, 99% of the garments going out and coming back in before the next service that Cintas comes by. So we're actually changing the mindset of employees to trust the program, to trust that the inventory there is clean, prep, ready to go. And if they use the process the right way, they're always going to have what they need. I think a lot of assets within the hotel, you'll see things like hoarding. They'll hoard the product, and they do that not because they're trying to do a negative behavior. It's because they want to have the tools that they need to do their job. And so they hoard because why? They don't trust that it's going to be there when they need it the next time. And so if you think about uniforms, the same thing. They'll take one set, hoard it, and you don't know where it is. You don't know how many they have. But now we're saying use the process, trust the process. They can see it, they can trust it, and know that the garments are available when they need them. And that's really why we believe, it's already taking off, George. We've only been doing this inside of hospitality for less than a year. We've been doing it for over a decade in healthcare. And as Amber said in the beginning, we've pulled it over from healthcare into hospitality, and
How do
it's
you
taken
see
off.
the adoption of this, Shane, going forward in hospitality? Do you see it becoming popular with hotels at all chain scales would have a use for this? Right?
Yes. Yeah, that's actually a really insightful question. I think there is a certain amount of scale to justify, to have the equipment on site. Because what we're trying to do, George, we're trying to make a standard rental program and a garment dispensing program. We're trying to get that as close to budget neutral as we can, like to where they're about the same, or the cost of a purchase and clean program where they would send it out to laundry, try to get those right about budget neutral. But the scale on that would be at least like 30 to 40 employees going in. And they don't all have to be from the same department, but you need at least 30 to 40 in a small, because we have different size machines. So you can get a small machine and a large machine. And if 30 to 40 employees, will make sure that small machine is worth, and you're getting your ROI back on it.
So there has to be a certain amount of scale there, right? To get the ROI on it, right?
I would say if I went
just
into
a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I want it to make sense, and so, if I'm just thinking about, you can correct me on this, Amber, but if I'm thinking about a small property that has 7 or 8 housekeepers, maybe 3 or 4 people in F&B that are, probably managing grab and goes, there's just not enough staffing there to justify the equipment. But Amber, I could be off. That's what I'm finding. What are your?
Yeah, I think that's right on, Shane. I think I'd love to put it everywhere, right? Because it's such a great solution. But I always joke around, we're not in the method, the Oprah method of just throwing out dispensers and placing them, because we want to sell equipment. What we're really trying to do is revolutionize apparel programs within all of the different segments that we have with Cintas, and where it makes sense. And where we have found it makes sense is in housekeeping, where turnover is at an all-time high, in culinary, where image is so important, but also turnover can be high. Or those are very large departments where trying to manage that program is just a lot of, it's very labor intensive. So, what can we do? Does it make sense everywhere? Probably not. But if somebody wants us to look at it, we're not going to turn a blind eye.
Those are like your target areas there, the housekeeping and food service, right?
That's
Absolutely.
it. I think one thing, George, one study that we did is we actually said, when we were looking to bring it over from healthcare to hospitality, we asked the question, well, we have to be able to fold the garment for this solution to work. And so obviously, front desk, concierge, probably some of your any of your cocktail servers, all of those garments for the most part are probably being hung on hangers, put on a conveyor in luxury in upper upscale properties.
Right.
So those probably wouldn't be good fits. Whereas we can fold chef coat, chef pants, housekeeping tunics, housekeeping pants, engineering tops and pants. We can fold. Here's another big one would be banquets. Banquets would be one where the shirt and the pant could be folded, and maybe we have a bulk supply of vests and ties on hand that they can pull from. But we can do it in large number departments, works great, and where the garments can be folded and not have to be dry cleaned. So suiting, isn't a great option for this yet. We're working on ways to be able to hang the garments within the dispensers, but for now, the dispensing unit that we have, the garment needs to be folded.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great additive to a uniform room, right? Like it's a uniform room with for those departments that Shane's discussing, but also then our dispensing for culinary. And who knows what's next, George? I don't think that we went at it and thought it was just going to be.
You're still making slight improvements to the system.
We're still learning every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We're open for business on whatever we want to try.
Fair enough. Right. Look, thanks so much to both of you for your participation in this and valuable insights. into what is an important area of operations. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, George.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Lodging on Demand. If you would like more content like this, please subscribe to Lodging Magazine on YouTube. You can also subscribe to Lodging on Demand wherever you get your podcasts. For news and updates, follow at Lodging Magazine on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Or visit us at lodgingmagazine.com